So we are back with Senior Master Bob White, my karate master, who I am so humbled and honored to call my master. It's been a 10-year journey, almost 10 years, and it's just been so much fun. So in this episode, we've been talking about
his book,
Right.
Life in Session,
Right.
That you can get on Amazon or also bwkenpo, KENPO.com, which you can learn more about Bob and his studio and the work he has. But it's an amazing book. My quote's on the cover, yay me. It's awesome.
Did you just say that, really?
I did, yes.
Okay, so you sound like you're in 5th grade when you said that. Anyways.
That's why you married me.
So we talked about the struggles. The book is just brutally honest. In the first episode, we really talked about things that surprised me. I just had no idea about some of the things. And then you talked about overcoming. We discussed that in the second episode. This one, we're going to talk about how you sustain and the cancer, what you went through with the cancer, and how you sustain your sobriety. And I really want to honor someone special that's, in the studio and in your life, and just I'm an amazing human being, and that's Mrs. White. So I'm going to guess that she's a part of that. Is it okay for me to say that?
Yeah, she's definitely a major part of my life, and for that I'm truly blessed. She's
scary. She's tiny. And so I kept thinking to myself when I first met this woman, what could she possibly, how could she possibly be very tough? And then she will just scare the socks off of you when you see her fight.
Yeah, she's very deceptive.
Yeah, it's crazy. So talk to us about how you sustain all of this.
Well, we talked a little bit earlier about who you spend your time with and what an influence they have on you. And, there's nobody I spend more time with than my wife. And her influence in my life has just been tremendous. A very strong Christian lady. They say that time exposes or promotes.
Yeah.
And I've known her now for right at 20 years, and she just keeps being promoted. She really is the finest person that I've ever met.
Yeah, she's amazing.
There's no nothing pretentious about her. She's just unassuming, but never shirks from a duty, whatever it is, whether it is as a mother or she is a nurse at Hoag Hospital.
I'm a huge fan of nurses.
Oh, yeah, I believe that. I think we both married well. That she is a fantastic person, 5th degree black belt. Does a great woman's self-defense program.
She
really
does.
is service. She'll be doing it next week in Ireland to help some people over there. And just, we all have heroes, and she's one of mine.
She really is amazing, and I agree with you.
So step one of sustaining is your support group.
Right.
It's you become like the people you hang out with.
You make
more and more. It's about people are contagious.
Yeah, and you make an amazing point in your book. You talk about how you really honor her, but you also say she would never have been with me, with the man you used to be.
No
and
question.
So you really respect this person. You look up to her, but you're clear. She would have never bought into your old lifestyle.
Well, I realize I have to earn the right to
Right.
be your husband. And I have to. That's one of the things we talked about on conduct and doing that inventory is think about what I could have done differently. And then when I am wrong, I'll promptly admit it and apologize. That way there's no real lingering issue where there's resentment and all those things that could destroy friendships or relationships.
So I think a really important point to, as far as the people you surround yourself with, if you are looking to for your community, is people that you can look up to, that you respect, but who keep you honest and who keep you real. She didn't care about your fame as much as she if you were going to be with her, she needed to be you needed to hold yourself to a high standard.
Correct.
And that's really important. So when you're talking about sustainability, having people in your community who keep you real and keep you honest.
Well, I mentioned in the book that line, Jack Nicholson line about she makes you want to be a better person. And I think as a result, it's a cliche and I'm not trying to sound corny, but in reality, it does. And friendships do too. John Wooden says, you want good friends, be a good friend. So you have to maintain a standard of conduct that's honorable and that you feel you look like yourself when you look in the mirror. Otherwise, you're not worthy of having good friends or not worthy of having a great relationship. So there's a manner in which you conduct yourself is who you are.
I agree with that. So what else would you say? You mentioned service. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you guys do for Royal Family Kids Camp and
Well,
why that helps.
Really what we get to do. I mean, it's been such a great thing. As I mentioned earlier, we prayed for God's guidance when we first started getting involved. You know, we threw this small tournament at the studio with the idea of raising $400 or $500, and the first year we raised $12,000.
Wow!
And then it just kept going. Now, as we mentioned, we're over $1 million, and that's just been a blessing. You know, it's been beyond our wildest dreams. But we get an opportunity. My wife's the nurse at the camp and has been for over 10 years. When you get up there, you get an opportunity to see what an impact it has on these children. And it makes you want to do more.
Mm-hmm.
So these are children often who couldn't go to camp.
Correct.
The pastor who founded it was actually my youth pastor.
Yeah, you mentioned that's awesome.
And I was in
That's
college.
Phil?
Wayne.
Wayne
Tesh.
Wayne Tesh. Oh, yeah.
Wayne and Diane. And so that connection was really special to me. But they have a heart for service as well, and started these camps where children can go, you know, from lower income families. They can go and they can have fun, and they can learn about Jesus, and you know, just be a wonderful, supportive environment. But someone has to help Royal Family Kids Camp pay for everything they do, and that's been on your heart. And
it is.
I know we've been able to donate a scan. And,
you guys have done tremendous.
You know, it's been
help.
fun
For a
to
couple
be
years
to the events. And if you want to learn more, you can look it up online. You know, just search for Royal Family Kids Camp.
They can go to your site and get involved
or
that
just
way.
rfk.org.
Yeah.
And you could get some information on them. But they're a great group. They started in Newport Beach, Costa Mesa, and now there's over 200 around the world. In fact, we opened our own camp. We financed it in Chile.
Oh, that's
and
great.
now they've got 13 or 14 camps down there.
Oh, that's
Wow.
amazing.
So it is. It's just tremendous.
For it is in the giving that you receive. If you're really feeling bummed, go help somebody. I mean, I just can't say that more and more. People who are socially isolated, they have a higher risk of Alzheimer's disease. They have a higher risk of depression. Their immune systems aren't good. I know we just lost Barbara Bush this year, but she went through a period of depression when her husband was CIA director, because he could never talk to her, and so their close relationship, they became more separate. And as she got depressed, she realized that if she volunteered, that would be like Prozac for her. It would be a natural antidepressant.
That makes perfect
and
sense.
So getting outside of yourself can just be so healing, so important.
So what part has your karate, I mean, it's been your life. So what part has it played in helping you? Because for a while, it was part of the world that was a little bit destructive, but you turned that around. What part has it played in helping you with the sustainability?
Well, service. When I teach a class, I feel I'm in service to help people. Going the extra mile, taking a personal interest in your students. And what happens, as in any relationship, there's trust. And the trust has to be maintained and never betrayed. Once the trust is betrayed, it's hard to get it back. So you have to be consistent and be as honorable as you can, with the full realization that we're just humans. We're going to make mistakes. But when we make the mistake, apologize and move on.
So I like this that you said in the book. You said Ed Parker, who was the founder of the system that we use, once said that generally speaking, there are two types of people who take up karate: bullies who want to become better bullies, and people who are afraid of the bullies. That was me. I didn't like feeling weak or threatened. I was an exception in that I was neither a bully nor afraid of bullies. So you had a very different reason for going into it. And karate is, I think, it's just amazing. It has so many metaphors for life.
It does.
So I suggest it to so many people. Of course, don't get hit in the head. I know you always say that.
Well, there's actually a study from Brazil, a brain imaging study, that showed people who engaged in martial arts had more gray matter in their brain. So those are brain cells. They actually had more cells. Now, it's really important not to get hit in the head, because your brain is soft and your skull is hard, and brain trauma causes all sorts of ridiculously bad things. But the complex motor movements and they're complex to get your yellow belt, which I think as far as I got. So the complex motor movements, the cardiovascular training that's involved in it, the relationships, all of those are really great, as long as you don't get hit in the head.
Yeah, exactly. No, I remember talking to you. I think we were over your house for dinner. We were talking about how you really felt that the training in martial arts would really help children develop their IQ.
So many ADD kids, you know, they can't concentrate in school. They're undisciplined. They're disrespectful. When they go and take karate with a sane master.
Right.
So the master's really
The studio
important.
makes a difference. The culture.
The studio was really important.
That's what my thesis was about.
Is their behavior gets better. When my oldest son was in first grade, we were living in Hawaii, and he's very white. And in Hawaii, most people don't know, white people are the minority.
Yes.
And he was called a haole and harassed and beaten up and and so we put him in a Japanese karate studio. And after about 6 months, all of that went away. And he never, you know, assaulted anybody, or he didn't
Just
become
walks
aggressive.
differently.
But he walked differently.
That's
he had
great.
a different level of confidence. It was so good for him.
Yeah.
For
No,
the
I've
rest
seen
of his
it
life.
throughout the years, so many different times. It is transformation.
And one of the things you talk about as well that I love is you mention how daily you practice surrender. And I think that is just a really important point that you make.
Well,
that it's a daily practice for you.
And there's peace in that. It really helped me dealing with the cancer. I just realized I'm going to do what the doctors tell me to do on a daily basis and do all I can do. And I'll get through this day, and then I'll go when tomorrow comes. So, you know, we'll deal with that at this time.
Well, when you've got a strong personality, you're used to being physically fit, and you're used to being, I know for me, it's really hard. I want things to move at my pace.
Yeah.
They don't always. And it's frustrating. It's hard. So trying to surrender daily is a practice.
It is. And then so much reframing. We talked about Barbara earlier. 1 year ago, right at this time, is when I started the radiation and the chemo for my second cancer. And, you know, I was dreading this, but Barbara put it in perspective. She said, well, now the healing starts.
Yeah.
So instead of
That
dreading
reframe.
it kind of helped you maybe embrace the process a little bit more. Which
Yeah,
matters
having
how
good
you look
people
at
take
things.
care of you makes a big difference.
It does. It does.
For the last 3 weeks, I've been the nurse.
It's been great.
right.
It's been great.
And I'd much rather be a doctor than a nurse, but I love being Tana's nurse.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
We love to help the people we love.
Yeah.
So people mindset, doing what the doctor says to do. So having doctors you trust
Service.
is so important.
Being coachable.
Yeah.
And listen, you know, you listen. Hopefully, my students listen to me because I'm a professional at what I do, and it would be foolish to not listen to the doctors that are professionals. They have an insight that we don't have.
It's so true. I love it. And just the amount of service that you guys do together is amazing. It's beautiful to watch.
Oh, thank you.
So we're so glad you're with us. Again, Life in Session.
It's such an honor to have you.
The Senior Master Bob White story, written with Tom Bleecker. I have the quote on the front: Life in Session is the gripping story of a martial arts master, I mean really a historic master. It is an inspiring book about character, determination, transformation, and overcoming hardships. Amazon.com, you can get that, or on Bob's website at bwkenpo.com. Stay with us with the Brain
Thank
Warriors
you,
Way.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you both.